What's up, everybody? I figure we go over a Def Mods 30mm Def Tank build today. Show you guys how I've been building them, success I've had with certain coils, certain cottons, and how I do it. Just to give you guys a heads up and get you started on your own tanks that'll be shipping soon. The stainless steel arrived today, so I figured today was a good day to do the build tutorial. I prefer cotton bacon prime. Cotton candy also works really well. I just find that the prime lasts a little bit longer for the sweeter juices that I prefer. Got some CNS coils here, 0.268 N80 stags. I have found that 4.5 millimeter 7 wrap staggered work the best for me. Just easy to wick, easy to build on, easy to get the hot spots out, easy to wick. It's everything about them easier. On this tank, on this 30 mil, you can go up to 5.5 millimeter dual staggered coils. Now, when you go up that high, the wicking is tricky. You have to get it just right. If you've got too much cotton, it's not going to wick fast enough. You're going to get dry hits. If you got too little cotton, you're going to get leaking. So it's a lot trickier. With the 4.5 millimeter, it's just a little bit of cotton trimming, stuff it, fill your tank, you're ready to vape. It's just easy. So that's what I use. Got my snips for my coil leads, scissors for the cotton, and a good 1.5 millimeter driver. I honestly suggest getting one of these because it will never strip your screws out, and it's just a lot easier than the little cheap one that comes with your tank that's provided. You know, that one's just pretty much just to get by. So let's open it up. Oh, I'll be working my coils out on my Guardians of the Galaxy DNA 400 3000 mAh. So let's open it up and see what you'll get when you order a tank. With each tank, you'll get replacement O-rings. 2 O-rings for each O-ring in the tank. You'll get a top gasket, and I'll show you what that gasket is for, where it looks like, what's its purpose. Then you get 4 extra screws just in case you do strip one out. And this is the driver I was telling you guys about. It's just a little cheap one. Everybody knows these things. They suck. I just always throw them away. Just get you one of the good drivers, and you never have to worry about stripping it out. So every single tank is going to come with an extra glass piece, just in case if you break the original glass piece on your tank, you have an extra one that comes with it automatically. You have a bubble section, just in case you want to add some more liquid to it, hold it to where you don't have to refill as much, you get a bubble section with it. And then you have your tank. It's hard to do stainless steel because the light all glares off of it, so you kind of miss details and everything on it. This is what they look like. It's got an 810 drip tip that's stainless steel and plastic. It's got a screw on top, which I'll show you the benefit of that here in a little bit. And then here's your little gasket I was telling you about. And this is what seals the top of it for you. So you don't have any little rings in the top that you have to worry about losing. You have this great big gasket, and it seals the top lid to the chimney part. And it works phenomenal. I absolutely love that I went with that. Machining on these is excellent. Just absolutely excellent. Now, if anybody has owned a Voltro V3 or a Fatality, it's hard to get to it with the glare, but you'll see right here these little triangles. This is your juice flow control. Like if you spin the tank, if you watch your little section down here, let's see if I can't turn these lights off. There we go. That's just so we can get up close on it here. You see that's wide open, and you can turn your juice flow off. And then if you lined up those little triangles right here, you can pull your top part off. And I'll show you one of the best benefits of that right there here in a minute. Here's our deck. Has a big middle opening, just like the Fatality and the V3. I went with bigger side channels because whenever you're drawing in the air is not going to come just straight up out of it. it's gonna shoot to the side a little bit, and it's gonna hit those coils, and it keeps them nice and cool, and it provides a lot of flavor, which you'll see. Got two big juice wells, and then adjustable airflow, which is nice and snug, so they don't ever spin unless you want it to. I like to leave mine wide open because I like a very hot vape that needs a lot of an air. Go ahead and kick that light back on. But yeah, that's it. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and loosen up your coil, your screws a little bit, just to, that way you can get your coils up under there. If you see on the side, they're open over here on the side, so you can literally just slide your coils in just like so. But I gotta loosen this one a little more. Just like that. And with these, you want it to go just past that middle part down here. You need to leave you some lead links because we're gonna raise them up a little bit to where that side air is hitting it nice and good for us. Give us that nice thick vapor we all like. So just go ahead and tighten it down. Don't gotta over tighten it, just get a good snug or don't move on you. Grab my little coil adjuster. I want to go ahead and pull this coil up. Just like that. You don't want them sitting down in between these two spots right here. You want to pull them up to where this side channel is going to hit it as it's getting sucked out of the top of the chimney. And so that's about where the finished coil is going to be. Right about there. Got to do something about this light. But in order to get this second coil in, we're going to need to pull this over the top of this side right here. That way we can wiggle that other coil in there because it's a tight fit. Go ahead and loosen up our other screws here. Same way we did the last one. Just gonna slide this in there. Grab this lead, slide it in, just like that. Go ahead and tighten her down. Again, you don't have to get it super tight. You just want to get it snug to where it's not gonna come loose on you unexpectedly. And same with the other one. We're gonna pull that thing up over the middle. Just like that. And that way these side channels, as the air is getting pulled through the tank, they're going to come up sideways and hit the tops. And then the bottoms are going to get nice and cooled by the big bottom. So you want to trim off your leads here, and you want to make sure that you trim them to where they're completely flush with this side right here. They can't be sticking out at all because the chimney's going to be right here. And if this lead is touching the chimney, it's going to short out. And if you got a DNA, it's not going to fire. Or it's going to detect a short and your ohms are going to be all over the place and you'll just get errors. And then if you're on a PWM or something that can't sense it, you're gonna get arcing. It's not gonna be good. So you got to make sure that you trim this right here to where it's even with the post. And once you get your tank, you'll see what I mean. I know my camera sucks. Keeps autofocusing. I'll have to figure it out. Let's go ahead and trim the other side. All right, that looks good. So we'll go ahead and put it on our mod here. I'm going to go ahead and cut the camera and I'm going to work these hot spots out. And then when that's done, I'll show you guys how to wick it, fill it, and some other tips I found about the tank that help. I'll be right back. All right, we got them hot spots out. Got my cotton. So go ahead and split this in half. Just take one in, kind of twist it to make it smaller so it's easier to get through that coil. Now you want this to be snug, not tight. You see how when I pull it, it's not moving really the coil at all. It's not. You just want it snug. You don't want it loose because if it's loose, you're gonna get burning. Just want it snug, not too tight, not too loose. Now, where I like to trim it is about 2 millimeters longer past the edge of the tank. Go ahead and get our other one in there. And then you can just trim it right with even with the other one. Now for the wicking part with the cotton, this can be tricky at first, but once you get it down, it's clockwork. It's just every time you do it after that, it just works perfectly. I like to use these 7SA real fine point tweezers. You just want to go ahead and start fluffing up your cotton. You want to just completely fluff it up because we're gonna do some trimming on it here. So get it nice and fluffed. Go ahead and do that on both sides. Fluffing it like this just gives you a better idea how much cotton you're dealing with. So whenever you do put juice in it and that cotton swells up a little bit, you know if you got the right amount in there. All right, we got our scissors here. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to trim the side pieces. This is a trick that Nick Dumas figured out with the Voltro V3s. And then also what I like to do is I like to trim the tops off a little bit. Like that. Same on this one. Trim your sides off. And then trim your tops. Now what you want to do is go ahead and do your first tuck and just get an idea how much cotton you got in there. You want the cotton just to be sitting in the juice well. You don't want it to have, a bunch of cotton where you have to really stuff it in there. Otherwise, you're not going to be wicking fast enough. You're going to get dry hits. And you want enough to where there's no gaps anywhere in it. So just judging by that I need to trim a little bit more off this side. I'll show you how we're going to do that. To get a little bit more, what you're going to do is just take your needle nose or your super fine tip pliers or tweezers, and you're just going to start scraping at it. And hold this side of the cotton to where you don't pull your cotton through. I seen Mr. Santos do this, and I started doing it, and it works pretty well. Fogging out with the Batman. Go give him a like and a subscribe if you haven't. Does some good reviews. Has some killer juice too. Yeah, just looking at it, I can already tell that I'm going to need to do just a little bit more. Go ahead and see how this tucks now. Now, earlier I told you I'd tell you why I wanted to do a spin top. Yeah, that side looks pretty good. The reason I chose to do a spin top was because when you spin it down or you tighten it down, spinning it like that, it creates a little bit of pressure in the tank. And that pressure is going to help with faster wicking if you do over wick a little bit. So if you put just a little too much bit of cotton in there, the pressure from the tank is going to help equalize that to where it's still going to push that juice up through that cotton real good for you, so you still get a good nice vape. Go ahead and see how this side tucks. Yep, that's a little too much cotton. Like I said, the more you build on it, you'll realize, just the feel of when you're tucking it, if it's too much or not. Like the feel of it as you put it in. A perfect wick on this is you'll notice it just kind of lays in that juice well. It doesn't need to be forced down in there. It just kind of just falls down into that juice well. And always tuck the bottom part of your wicks first and then do the tops. All right, that looks pretty good. Can't get my webcam to focus for crap. I think it looked better with the lights. What do you think? All right, now we want to go ahead and start putting our liquid on it. Tell you, I'm trying this Midway funnel cake by I can't pronounce that name. I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna butcher it and look like an idiot. It smells good. And when you're juicing it, what you want to do is you want to start at the tops of your wicking and just start working it down. Get it good and saturated. You want to oversaturate this. Just start working them down to where they cover up that juice well completely. Because if you have any air gaps in that juice well between the cotton and the sides, you're going to get leaking. And if you don't get the wicking just right on the first tie, you're not going to waste liquid. I'll show you a little trick of why I decided to keep the juice flow control the same as the Fatality and the Voltro V3. Fatality really hit the home run with that design. And then Mark perfected the fatality design. He took good things about the fatality and he added his own little touch to it and made it even better. And then I'm hoping, adding my little touch to that kind of design with the dual juice wells and the juice flow control like that will make it even better. All right, this other side, same thing. Just start at your coils and start working downward. You want to go in a downward motion. Just folding that cotton down over on top of that juice flow hole. And if you understuffed and you realize that there's a small gap, it's no big deal. You can just take from your scraps here, you can just take a tiny little piece of your scraps, a real small piece, and just stuff it down into the gap that you see, and you'll see it. But if you get this wicking just right and you figure out how to do it, it's I know I made it kind of look easy, but this is probably the 100th time I've wicked this tank so far, just trying different builds, doing different things, and I like to rewick every 3 or 4 days because, like I said, I like the sweeter juice, so it destroys my cotton and I start losing flavor and I immediately rewick. All right, there we go. So get it good and nice saturated because that's going to be the start of your tank. This is the most important part. You get it good and saturated, it kind of just, for lack of a better word, it sets it up for better vaping later. If you get it real dry, it's takes more time for it to get that initial set in of the juice on the coils. Now this part is probably the most important part. Do not forget to do this part because you will have problems with this part. Take your top cap, and here on the chimney you're going to see two little lips. One's a little notch that the base goes into. You'll see a couple little notches on the side of your tanks, and then you'll see another little notch right above that. And you just want to take a tiny drop of juice and put it right on that notch. And you want to take your finger and work it in all the way around, get that good and lubricated. And what that's for is this O-ring right here. That juice is going to lubricate it, allowing you to spin that top part for your juice flow control a lot easier. If you do not do that part, you're going to have a hard time getting this to sit on it and spin it. But doing that, as you'll see here in a second, putting this on, you just want to line up your two little diamonds, just like that, and you just want to give it a couple little spins like this without pushing down, just to get that juice worked on that O-ring. And then once you got that juice on that O-ring, you just simply push down and you want to turn it to your left with the juice flow off. You'll see that on here that it's not open. And the reason, because we're going to fill it up. So go ahead and pop your top cap. Put your juice down in it. Start filling it up. Just like that. You just want to put your cap on, screw it down, and you're good to go. Now you just turn your tank top section to the right and you'll see that our juice flow opens up and we get bubbles showing that we're wicking. It's exactly what we want. Remember I told you that earlier that if you don't get your wicking just right and you find it's underperforming and it's just not doing what you want, you do not have to waste this liquid that's in this tank now. What you do is turn your mod upside down like this. Line up your two little triangles and simply pop off the top. So now we have access to our build again, and we didn't waste any of our juice. I'm going to go ahead and put this on back on it, and I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes and just kind of saturate that cotton, and I'll do a video showing you guys how it performs. I'll see you guys in a minute. I was going to do a cloud for it, but as you can see here, watch. Tank's so good that you blow invisible clouds. And special edition invisible mod. But yeah, I could sit here and hit this thing for 10 minutes, I wouldn't get a dry hit. This is what it looks like on my Mini. In case you guys didn't know, I sell mods too. This is my Beetlejuice Mini 4S 400 watt 1850 mAh. Looks amazing on it. But if you guys need help, if you've tried building it and it's just not working or having issues, please join our Facebook group, which is Deathheads 21 Plus on Facebook, and just ask, and there's more people in there that would be happy to help you than I could even possibly name. Or if you figure out some tricks to make it easier for people that aren't used to building RTAs like myself, then join up and just get in the conversation. But I hope you guys enjoy them, and thank you for supporting Def Mods. Without you guys, I'm nothing, and I'll catch you guys later.